IShowSpeed's Africa streams are doing multiple generational undamaging to your brain because y'all really thought that Africa was a bunch of twigs and huts. Like there isn't a representative from every single country that wants something out of this continent. Now, granted, some of the comments are people trying to be funny, but I can tell some of these are 100%. No, you really thought that. Y'all really thought Africa was in the arms of the air. You really thought that was, you thought it was Africa. Do you know how wealthy Africa is? Do you know how large Africa is? I'm telling you, he is undoing the damage of multiple decades. And I, for one, can't not commend him for doing that because wow. In the future, we are going to have multiple generations of people who are more conscious about how things happen over in Africa. And it is going to be because they saw what it looks like on IShowSpeed stream. W Speed. Oh, and Grown Man, by the way. Yeah, I promise, Grown Man, watch this. Tax exemption.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro. Such a place you wouldn't want to be at, bro. And Speed is single-handedly changing my perspective on life. Like the music in Africa, the culture, everything, every single aspect of Africa just makes my insides feel so good, bro. And it makes me just want to leave America. Bro, I feel like America is the trap. America is the trap. The American dream is the trap. Everybody else is free. But not free from America. America's the problem, bro. America's the fucking problem. And I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like, Speed, thank you, bro. Thank you.
As I need to know how underdeveloped America is because for Americans to be crying that IShowSpeed is in Africa and he's doing this amazing work and he's showing the other side, this must be deeper to them. This is even deeper. It's less deeper for me, but for these are really taking it in, as in tears are being shed. And honestly, I get it. You know, showing different side of Africa, but to that extent, like,
So, who the hell is IShowSpeed when he's at home? First and foremost, he's not just another Gen Z streamer. He's one of the biggest in the world. Millions of fans, billions of views. And right now he's touring multiple countries across Africa after literally just discovering his African roots. And honestly, in one live stream tour, he's arguably done more for Africa's image and narrative than most tourism boards have done in decades. And in my opinion, he did it right. No savior complex. I mean, he probably helped a few orphanages, but not on camera. No flexing, no throwing dollars or rooftop tours to prove the new Africa's civilized. He did what I would do, right? Vibe with locals, ate local food, and he said it tasted great, by the way. And he danced in the streets, laughed with strangers, and learned in real time with millions watching. He didn't place himself above the culture. He immersed himself and placed himself inside it. And you guys, you know that's rare. A Western figure engaging with Africa without extraction, pity, or ego. He wasn't polarizing. He wasn't puffing his chest. He was grounded, curious, open. But the real headline wasn't even that as amazing as it is. The reaction was the real headline. Watching African Americans respond, filming themselves in shock. You could literally see in real time the narrative breaking down in front of our eyes, right? All the lies about Africa being hostile, unsafe, Africans being unwelcome, savages, gone. Speed was embraced not as a celebrity, but like a long-lost family member. And the wildest part is he hasn't even touched Ghana or Nigeria yet. The streets are definitely already waiting, and that shift from curiosity to connection is going to be wild, right? I mean, is this emotional? Yes, but it's also economic. You know, I'd love that part. Tourism makes up the majority part of Africa's economy, but over 60% of it comes from Africans traveling within Africa. The diaspora hasn't really showed up yet beyond partying, not because the continent isn't beautiful or the people, but because branding never matched reality. Western media spent decades pushing anti-African narratives, and the cost has been real, right? Perception drives behavior. Behavior drives businesses. Business builds futures. Just look at Ghana's year of return, for example. Over 1 million visitors, an estimated $1.9 billion in tourism revenue. In Nigeria, Lagos alone pulled in 111 billion naira, which is like, I think, give or take $71 million at that time during dirty December 2024. And across the continent, travel and tourism could hit $350 billion by 2033. But that's not guaranteed. It depends on ownership, infrastructure, and storytelling. That's what I advocate for, both as a strategist and as Visit Nigeria's ambassador. And guys, two things can be true. Yes, some countries still face insecurity and weak systems, but they're still worthy of investment. Governments don't just clap, fund it.
Good morning. Hi everyone. I just saw a lot of Black American children crying tears after they watch their friend IShowSpeed African tour. Yeah, that's it. After they watch the IShowSpeed's African tour, they just broke down. I saw you crying tears, my baby. As an African woman, I want to say I'm sorry. Sorry that we have forgotten you. Sorry that we have forgotten you. As a Mama Africa, I want to say sorry to all these kids who broke down. Sorry. I don't know if I can do this. I heard you, kids. I heard you. I'm sorry. All I can say is I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we'll be fine now. Now you know the truth. You'll be fine. All the spirit of your ancestor asking you to at least come back once and let them free. Let them free. Let the spirit come back to Africa. As the first day they came in America and they start praying to go back to Africa. And they never be able to go back. And they stay in America and they fight for the dignity. They fight to be treated as a human being. The fight was so long to try to be same than people who was hurting them. And you won the fight. I'm proud of you as well. I'm so proud of you. What you become, what you're doing, how strong you are. Africa is proud of you. Next time, slowly, we're gonna open African door. Africa gonna open his home to let his kids come back. Okay, kids? Don't cry. We'll be fine. The nation will be fine. It's just the time has come. It's now the time has come that all the spirit of your ancestor can't wait. They will shake you. They will show you who you are. They will make you come fall in love again with where you're coming from. The African continent is yours. It's yours. African continent is yours. I love you so much. Don't cry. Thank you.
So our brother IShowSpeed got some of our people crying real tears as they realize the reality of the love we feel over here on the ground on the continent of Africa. See, me, myself, I left 5 years ago at the height of COVID pandemic, and I decided to take a leap of faith and come here myself. And I've been using my journey to show my people what's possible this entire time. But I'm so glad that Speed has came and used his platform to do the same thing I've been preaching for the past 5 years. It's time for us to come home. We have opportunity to be connected to our brothers and sisters. We've been lied to about how they feel about us. We've been lied to about everything in terms of Africa. He's showing us that it's time for us to come back and get connected and truly heal. He even said it himself. He said, I'm in a place where I'm at peace now. He went to other Western countries and they literally threw racial slurs at him, disrespected him, made him feel less than. And he came back home to the motherland with our brothers and sisters and started feeling real love. I don't know who needs to hear this or who this message is for, but this is just another moment in time for you to see the reality and realize, like, hey, we don't have to keep dealing with that, y'all. We can come back home. We can build in the motherland with our brothers and sisters where we respected, appreciated, and loved. For those of you who starting to feel the real about the continent of Africa, do something for yourself. Try to figure out how to come over here, but please do research. It's okay to feel emotional. It's okay to feel the love about what's happening, but do not just move off pre-emotions. Please use logic. Please connect with the right people, whichever country you go to. Please understand the processes that it takes to stay in those countries long term. It's very key that you move with wisdom when you coming back to the continent. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's a lot of opportunity, but there's also cultural vultures as well. So you got to position yourself and move with wisdom when you come over here. But man, shout out to Speed again, man. If you someone who's thinking of coming over here, Speed is just another example of that. We can do it. So figure out how you can do it for yourself. Get connected with the right people. Get all your resources in order and do the work. It's possible. Shout out to Speed again, man.
And I personally believe that what Speed is doing right now, without even realizing it, is he's literally waking up the masses. He's waking up the masses from all the propaganda and the lies that the media has fed America, Black Americans, about Africans and Africa. You know, he might not even know it or be aware of it, but he is literally healing generations right now. And trust and hear what I'm saying. Speed was divinely chosen for a time such as this. It might be an innocent thing and look like it's streaming, but a lot of Americans are waking up and realizing they were fed lies. And everything that they learned and were taught about Africa were lies. I have so much more respect for Speed after watching just a couple of days of his tour. Yeah, I'm definitely subscribing.
Y'all probably wondering why I'm crying. I've been watching Speed streams, and I'm seeing all the love that he's getting in Angola. He's in South Africa, and he's getting massive amount of love. And the way that he was treated in Europe was disgusting. But to see him be a black man from the United States of African descent and be able to go back to the continent and be treated like a human by civilized African people, when we've been taught that Africa is primitive, that it's dangerous, don't go back, they have this, they have that, they don't want you, they don't like you. And to see an African American man with his stature go back to the motherland and be treated with so much respect. This is what our people fought for. This is what they fought for when they fought against Jim Crow and segregation. This is what the slave revolts were about. This is what it's always been about. It's to be able to go back home to a home that you've never been and be unapologetically black and not have to think about being black. Just being able to have your natural hair and your brown skin and not be judged and not be racially profiled and not be killed. I love the love that he is getting. And I love the love that all of my African American people are getting in the continent. And I know there's a lot of issues. I know there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. But I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And I love that for him. And I love that for all of my people that are over there. And I can't wait to hit the soil and experience it myself.
Speed's Africa tour is kind of scaring me right now because the amount of people admitting that they didn't realize that Africa wasn't just like sticks and mud. That, like, Africa actually has, modern technology and roads and running water and all that type of stuff. And then that Africa is a continent, not a country. I've seen clips of Speed's tour, and I love it because every place he goes, he kind of rewrites the stereotype or the image that people have in their head, and he shows that, hey, this is a normal place. But especially with Africa, some of y'all I genuinely worry about. Because even when people who are like, oh, but the American propaganda makes you think that Africa is just nothing and extremely all this. Guys, can you do a little bit of research or maybe just a little bit of logical thinking? Do you really think an entire continent would just be sticks and mud and tribal people? If you just look up Africa City, you will see so many cities that look just like ours with skyscrapers, big buildings, roads, infrastructure, all that type of stuff.
I knew Africa had a bad PR, but I had no idea how bad it was until I started watching the reactions to the famous American streamer IShowSpeed's tour in Africa. And here is my take as an African living in Japan. So many people are shocked that Africa doesn't look like huts and poverty everywhere, and honestly, I'm more shocked that you're shocked. My flabbergasted. First of all, I would like to use this as a reminder that Africa as a continent is huge and you can fit 3 United States in there. 3 of them. The other fact is that Africa is one of the fastest urbanizing continents in the world, and nearly 45% of the population live in urban areas. That's almost half of the continent living in urban areas. And this is urbanization defined by the United Nations, the World Bank, and all of these. Urbanization means cities and towns, not huts. And most of the cities where the majority of the population live in are capitals. And these were the center of activities in the previous empires. And then they became the center of slave trade. And also further in the colonial era became the center where natural resources were exported from. So of course, roads and networks were built around there. And the current modernization actually continued from those points. From a development point of view, you can see how this created a disparity between people living in the rural area and urban area. That's a whole other discussion, but it doesn't mean that the remaining population live in huts. To be frank with you, I'll tell the truth. I myself fell for that bad PR to the level that when I was hearing stories from my grandfather's point of view, he was a son of a big chief of a clan in a certain village, I was fantasizing about going to visit these places with huts and people dancing around with funny raffia clothings. Tell me why when I was 18, I took all my savings and went to all these villages to visit. I saw this instead. Bruh. Yes, I was disappointed. I was like, where are the animals at? Where are the huts at? Where are the people dancing at? So yeah, as an African, surprise, surprise, I also want to go visit the Masai Mara. I want to visit all the remote villages as well, where people live in huts and brown animals and have fruits for free. But there are just not that many of them anymore. Now that I live in Japan, when I go to the countryside, I feel like it's very similar to where I grew up in Congo, you know, the countryside of Congo. And I'm like, the only difference, the people are the same, the heart is almost the same. Maybe we speak different languages, but the infrastructure and, I don't know, access to electricity and water is there in both places. But in one, it's inconsistent, it's unreliable, there's a disparity, but don't let people fool you about what Africa as a continent is like in real life. I have so much more to tell about this, but you let me know in the comment section if you want to know what it was like growing up in Kinshasa, in Congo, and also follow for more content.
Oh my goodness, I'm watching the stream right now in 4K and I can't believe my eyes. Africa actually has water. This is unbelievable, the information that's reaching my mind right now. Apparently, Africa is not a country. It's a continent. Wow, get this. They actually speak civilized languages in Africa. I thought they just communicated through clicks and various noises. Oh, I can't believe this. So what you're telling me is they actually have modern forms of transportation like cars in Africa? Wow. This whole time I thought they just rode on zebras and giraffes. They actually have grocery stores in Africa. This whole time, I thought they had to hunt their food with spears and arrows. Africa actually got some beautifully built modern houses. This whole time, I thought they lived in huts made out of dirt, tree branches, and mud.
Bro, I'm seeing this speed thing. Like, he went to Africa. And I'm checking the comments. I don't know if they're bots. Like, I don't know if people are trolling or if they're genuinely being serious, but they're like, oh, Africa's not just huts. Bro, if your age starts with a 2 or higher, If you're 20 plus and you genuinely think that
Warrior Tribe, what up? Just watch IShowSpeed's Ethiopia stream, and what I liked the most was how they really focused on the history with him, you know, breaking down the history. They made it very clear, yo, we ain't never been colonized, nigga. We ain't never been colonized. These other African countries, they celebrate independence. Nah, we celebrate victory, nigga. Ethiopia, tough Africans, nigga. What's up? I love that shit, bro. Shout out to Ethiopia. Shout out to IShowSpeed, IShowSpeed. Y'all carried that shit for a lot of it, man. Took it to the next level. Keep IShowSpeed for the other ones, for the rest of the tour. But yeah, stay up, y'all.
Bro, what Speed has done for Africa, he ain't even realized what he has done for Africa. Speed has just made Africa rich, bro. Now, I saw someone saying IShowSpeed is doing nothing for Africa's economy because his audience is just too young. Bro, let me tell you something. You're very wrong. You know, here's what, you know, people are not paying attention to when it comes to IShowSpeed. IShowSpeed is a serious force. Whether you like it or not, he's young and he's just a joy to watch. I don't normally watch a lot of streamers and all this stuff, but he's just a pure joy to watch. Why? Because he's very genuine. Personally, I don't chase celebrities, even local celebrities. I don't have time to take pictures with them and all those things because I only praise God. I only praise the Almighty Jesus, right? But we need to give someone credit when it's due. When someone has done well, we need to give them their credit that they deserve. You know, before Speed came into Africa, we all thought that his influence was just based in America, but we were shocked when we realized that old people, fathers and mothers, you know, old men and women, they were chasing this guy when he was here in this continent. Right, left, right, and center. Now, how is that even possible? Honestly, it came to a point whereby I couldn't believe my eyes. This guy doesn't even have a product, you know, in a traditional business sense. He doesn't have a company, he doesn't have a factory. He's just a streamer, bro. Like, he's just a YouTuber, a streamer, and all the stuff. And some of you might think he's super cool. Some of you might think he's weird. Whatever your opinion, I don't think it matters to him at this point in time. Here's another thing that people are missing, especially going back to that comment that was made by that other person. You know, Speed's influence is actually directly proportional to Africa's economy. And here's why. Now, without realizing, right now, millions of Africans and African Americans, they are feeling emotional and they are feeling nostalgic. What's the word? Nostalgia, right? They want to come back home. They want to come back home. Why? Because they've actually, you know, they've been taught a different story. Now they've actually seen the truth and they're realizing that they've been wrong for believing these people for all these years. They are missing home. And soon, many Africans and African Americans will come home. Some as tourists, some they'll come to invest, and some will relocate here permanently. Now, I've seen this here in South Africa. There's already about thousands of Americans that are already relocating to South Africa because the cost of living and the quality of life is just much better here, right? So, of course, he will have an impact into the economy. It might not be now, it might not be immediately, but definitely people are watching all over the world. Economists may not tell you this, but I'm telling you this right now. And the reason why I relate so much with this guy, now that's because one day I want to have the same level of influence, but not in the streaming line, but in crypto. I want to teach as many African brothers and sisters how to learn and earn from crypto and dominate this space. So if you want to learn about crypto, my African brothers and sisters, just comment Speed on this video. Make sure that you also follow me. Then I'll hook you up exactly on how for you to start learning about crypto, what it is, how does it work, and how you can potentially make money out of it. Cheers.
Africa has water. Wait, they speak English. I thought they speak in clicks. Wait, is that African girl wearing makeup?
IShowSpeed's in Africa, and like, how? Like they have Wi-Fi. I never knew that. And like they have cars, houses. Like shit's crazy. I never knew that.
And I can answer one of those questions. This is how we put our makeup on. We take a banana, we burn the ends. Ta-da! Eyeliner. After doing your makeup, you eat the banana. Very eco-friendly, very sustainable, very saving the planet.
Greetings, how you guys doing today? I just saw this wonderful video of IShowSpeed in Ethiopia, and in Africa. Actually, I was really looking at these videos and enjoying them for what they are. And this young man, he's making history, and I think nobody's reporting it like in a media sense in the United States, but what he's doing is incredible. It's incredible because he's capturing the real feeling, the interaction with African people. And as you already know, especially for our African American brothers and sisters, there is this stereotype that Africa do not like black people from America, or they don't welcome them. Like, it's the most absurd and shocking and unfounded lie that's perpetrated in order to keep us from inviting people from America, especially black people, to come and invest and use the resources, live there, retire. Africa is a heaven. It is actually have a lot of great things to offer for our African American brothers. And then African American brothers and sisters have trillions of dollars of buying power. And imagine when you find that beautiful continent that welcome you and accept you and have that kind of money to invest, it's going to make a real huge difference in the world. And that's why they perpetrated all these hates and all these tales that have unfounded, as if like African Americans are not welcomed in Africa. So countries try to change that stereotype for a long time. For example, Ghana do like a diaspora land. Like if you're an African American and go to Ghana, they will give you a land and welcome you. And every different countries, people do extra things just to welcome people from United States. First, because African Americans are Africans and they have a right to live in and to flourish in Africa just like anybody else. But right now, there are a lot of people who are not African Americans or coming and investing in Africa, but telling this story to African Americans as if they're not going to come to keep them away from Africa, from the land. And I did many interviews for many years, and I talked about how important this is, how important it is for African Americans to know that Africa is welcoming them and giving them an opportunity to come and claim their ancestors' land and actually use their knowledge, their talent, the talent and the knowledge and the skills that actually change the world to come home to Africa. And really, like, it's really, it always pains me when I go to Africa and see it, and I said, oh my God, I wish they knew. I wish they knew how great Africa is, what kind of opportunity we have here. And now, young guy from Cincinnati, Ohio, break the dam, and he basically showing the world, to African Americans, how much Africans love African Americans, how much you're welcoming them. This is not scripted. This is not by design. He's walking on the street and meet people, hugging them and kissing them and touching them, and they just like, yeah, I know that touch is always associated to something bad here, but in Africa, it's not. People actually come and say hello to you. They give you, a high five. They hug you, and they also give you what they feel exactly. There is no fakeness there. It's really incredible to experience when you go there. I'm just saying that this young man showed the world how much African Americans are welcomed in Africa, how much they're loved in Africa, and I hope he also showed a lot of other great things, which is how beautiful Africa is. And like, I remember him talking about before he left to Africa, saying like, do they have internet, do they have Wi-Fi? And now, like, he don't even have any problem. I actually goes to Africa and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, Africa is growing fast. It's growing fast, and it's incredible. The weather is incredible, the land is beautiful, the people are beautiful and kind and nice. So why not give it a try? Next time you travel to another part of the world, go to Africa. Take your family and show them the land. And you might also fall in love just like I show water, because Africa's welcoming. Africa is great. And I'm from Ethiopia originally, and I saw some videos today that I'm pretty much sure people are not translating it right. For example, when he's wearing these monkey hair things, and he said monkey tribes or something like that. The guy said something like one person say something like that in a video that I saw. I was just laughing because these are the war strategies. Depends when they fight against colonialists, they use different strategies like that to like basically camouflage themselves when they fight. And these are cultural things. The people you see in there dancing, they're from Oromo tribe, and they Oromo nation. They're like really. That's how they show their strengths. They're known for their cavalry. When the Italians come, they fight. And then when he passed and moved from that, and they start seeing the young ladies like screaming, and the guys were yelling at him. That is called fukkara. It's an Amharic term. It's a culture of an Amhara, which is to basically flex yourself to go to war. And that's what they're doing. They're inviting him to have shown him that he's part of the culture. And so when she say, "Who the hell are you?" that is not a negative term. It is actually for him to say, "I am IShowSpeed. I'm here with you." He didn't know the culture. He didn't do that. But that's what she was doing. It is actually a show of love and respect, and it's a great honor for him to do that. And we lived with this, like the design I wear, which I designed myself. It's the same thing he have right now. The hair and the shield and the horse, the cavalries. This is a culture that lived for many, many years. And there is a lot you can uncover in Ethiopia. There are a lot of tribes, there are a lot of different culture, beautiful dance. And I see him dancing Tigrinya, I see him dancing Amharic, I see him dancing Oromia. And all of these shows you the tapestry of what Ethiopia is, what Africa is. And when he was with Maasai and all of that. And the other very interesting thing is his exposure to these countries is incredible. Like in Ethiopia, he have like 47 million people tuned in Africa, and in Kenya was like 46 million, and Mozambique. It's like, it just continues. This is incredible. It's showing the world what Africa really is. The landscape, the beauty, like people are not throwing spears and stones anymore. People have freeways and the skyscrapers and amazing airports, great pilots. Remember when that nonsense happened? He like, "Are you sure you want to fly with a black pilot?" Japan Airlines has all black people in there, the top airlines in the world, and the #1 African country in the flight and planes. They're also the great customers of Boeing, which helps us here too. So basically, this young man is not only showing Africa, he's actually breaking the chain of ignorance, continuously showing what people are doing. I have many videos that I watched on TikTok. People are like, nobody told me what this is Africa. But that's what Africa is. Of course, you go to Africa, you find rural areas. Of course, you go and find Africa, you find places that have problems. But every country have them. And I think for anyone, if you see this, go invest in Africa. And I remember last time in 2019, when I went back to Africa, I ran into an NBA player, D West. He used to be playing for Warriors, and I think he also a champion. Great guy. He was telling me about investing. He was telling me that he's investing in Africa for water, for solar energy and things like that. That's what we need. We need people that African Americans who have money and wealth go and work with the governments in Africa and invest and be like I Show Water. Africa is welcoming you. Peace.
Africa has cars? Wait, they have bridges? I thought they just run bare feet on dirt. Wait, so you're telling me right now that Africa has modern housing and apartments? Since when did they have Wi-Fi? I thought they just communicate by having messenger pigeons and throwing it at other countries. Modern doctors and hospitals, I thought when they get injured, they just go to a dirt hut and a witch doctor named Baba Tunde rubs some beaver anal glands on their injuries to fix it.